Welcome to Salento with Love. I'm Davide Mengoli, and today we have a very special person on the screen. But just before I go and meet this very special person, I stopped to have a rustico leccese. After the pasticciotto being the cake here in Salento, we have the savoury side, which is the rustico. Anyway, this video is not about food, but it's about how people react to the world changing and how remote purchasing and property management from the other side of the world has actually accomplished some extraordinary things. So I can't wait to introduce you to this person. Stay on the channel, click and subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the little bell to get all the new videos whenever they get published. And let's see what this special person has got to say. The star of this video, Lola. She's actually been a star for me as well in this learning and fast growing process of Salento with Love. So first of all, you may want to tell us where you're from.
Well, I'm from the US, as many of you who are going to see this know already, and I live in New Mexico currently.
Wow, okay. And from New Mexico to Nardo.
Yes.
Wow, that's kind of a massive jump, isn't it? I mean,
it really is, and then it isn't at the same time. I did a lot of research on where in Italy I wanted to live. As a lot of you may know, I want to live closer to my daughter and only child who lives in Ireland, and Italy just seemed like a natural choice for me. It's very close. And I love the culture, the food, the climate. There's so much to love about it here. I'm Catholic, so I can, I know what's going on. That's actually where I learn a lot in church. Now they're seeing that I'm not just somebody who's drifting through, one-timer. They see that I'm going every Sunday. So now they're introducing themselves to me. And I can't wait for Kiva to come in to show her off around town and go to my restaurants and shops. So I just feel like this is more in a very short time.
Yeah, because you've been here, what, just 6 weeks now? 7?
Yeah, it's more of a home to me than the home in the US. And I'm very much at home. And when I think about leaving soon, I think, I feel like I'm giving up my place in line. Because I'm going to be gone for a little while. And I thought when I come back, will they remember me, I wonder? Will I be able to pick up my place in line and pick up where I left off? Because I've made progress here in a very short time. I've made friends. Today I went to Ferramenta, and I got keys made, for Kiva. And I was just talking with the shop owner. We're just old friends, me, him, and his wife. And I speak to him in Italian. He tries a little English, but I've got my translator on the phone. And we were going back and forth, and he's used to seeing me go in there, and that's all of the shops now. And I'm just gonna, I don't want to let go. I love it here. I love it. It's literally one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. There's having Kiva. There is going to university and graduating university. Those are like top two. Right. And this is right out there with the literally life-changing. Moving here, I've just transformed, and I'm myself, the old Lola that I haven't felt in many years, because of my life is very different in the US, and I'm so comfortable and at home here. I just feel like this is, from the day I walked in, I literally felt like this is where I belong.
And it's amazing, from the day you walked in, you actually had a place to sleep and a place that you felt that it was a
helps
home.
A lot, because I do have a home, because I do have a home here, yes.
It's not the same for everyone who purchases a property, so...
that does make a difference, It really does. I've got my home here, it's my furniture, it's my stuff, so... yeah, I do actually belong here, and I've got the proper parking permit, to park in with.
How did you get that?
Your lady did that, Milena. She worked her magic, just like that. In 2 days, I had my, parking permit to park in all the restricted areas here in Nardo. And to be honest, I don't even use it because there's handicap. You all acknowledge my handicap placard from the US, so I've got parking everywhere I go.
But talking about you owning a property now from New Mexico here in this part of Italy, in Puglia, in the region of Puglia, and this sort of right at the bottom, what I call the Stiletto of Italy, Salento. How did you manage to buy a property? And now, bearing in mind, for anyone that follows me on my YouTube channel, I keep talking about remote purchasing. I feel it's one of the strongest instruments that has allowed people like Lola. But let's hear it. How did you manage to actually go and complete this sometimes daunting and complicated process?
It is somewhat complicated. I've purchased properties remotely for years now. This is the first time I've ever purchased a property in another country, though. So I did have a little experience at it, and it's basically a process of elimination. You pick an area, which I did, looked at regions, and really had to zoom in on what provinces I wanted to look at near a coastline, not too far from a coast, near conveniences, things like airports and public transportation. And I do like the presence of having tourists coming in at least at some point throughout the year, because I knew that I'd have to rent out the property when I'm not living in it. This is the purchasing of this property for me is the first phase of my retirement. I plan to retire near my daughter, my only child, who lives nearby in Ireland. And it's just a hop, skip, and jump to get to her now for her to get to mom, which is great. But it also takes time, money, planning. So it's not something I'm able to do. I'm not able to make the entire leap at once. So I will live in the property for part of the year, and when I'm not living in it, I will rent it out for the other part of the year to supplement my income.
That's very good planning. And just before we get to that part of the planning, how was the actual process of purchasing a property? We're talking about the services that you engaged specifically with me. So
with Salento with Love, which is the name of Davide's agency, it was actually pretty easy, to be honest. In fact, I was shocked at how easily the process went. They made it easy for me, and when it came to the actual closing is what really surprised me, because closings in the US are pretty long. They're lengthy. This was probably the shortest, most civilized, pleasant closing that I've ever had on any property in my life. Salento with Love is responsible for that, for all of it. And for anybody who's questioning the process in their mind right now, it was all done on Zoom. Okay, and there were legal people there at the table. There has to be a notary in the process. Basically, when you purchase here, it's done. It's very similar to purchasing in the U.S. Okay, and everything has to be done above board and has to be approved. So the sellers were there at the closing. There was a notary there. Davide was there working as my power of attorney, and I was in the meeting in the US via Zoom call, and it was so nice. I got to meet the sellers. It was a very pleasant experience. There was really very little stress at all throughout the entire process. They made it easy for me. They basically sent me listings to look at, and once I found listings that I was interested in, they let me know, yeah, this is good. No, this is this is not something you should look at. And once I compiled a list of properties, they sent someone out to look at the properties, and yes, and they did a walkthrough video. I got to see the video footage, and they video every aspect of the property, from the floor to the ceiling to the roof to everything. And then I also had to have an inspection. They recommend it. It's the same in the U.S. I didn't have to do it, but it was something that they recommend. So there was a proper inspection done. There was an appraisal done. I believe there was an appraisal. Was there appraisal? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, yep. The appraisal. And I had all of that data given back to me. They helped to negotiate the price with the seller, and the deposit was then put in an account, like a title company, basically, or notary. I don't remember which it was, but it was exactly the same process as in the U.S. And we agreed on a price, and then there was the closing, and that was it. It was done. And also Salento, they still make it easy for me because they're a property management company, which is something that I really needed. And if you do purchase here, I would recommend purchasing in this region so that Salento can help you, because that's what they did for me. They literally do everything for me. They set up the utilities for you. They get the gas, electricity, water, everything turned on, set you up with the renovations, and they oversee the entire project, okay? Because I had some renovations going on here. I did. They were here watching the entire process. They hire the people, they bring them in, and they're trustworthy people that they work with personally, that they know personally, so you don't have to worry about anything. And they give you updates and, again, send you video footage of everything that's being done to your property. So I was included every step of the way, and it couldn't be made any easier, to be honest. I was just telling Davide that I think buying here in this region, in this city, with Salento, with love, is one of the best decisions of my life. It's one of the top decisions that I've made, right along with having my daughter going to university and graduating and getting my degree. This was one of my best decisions. I'm so happy here that returning to the US actually is going to be a little difficult. I'm at home, and I was at home. I felt at home from the very first day that I arrived. It's a lovely place, great food, great climate. The people are beautiful here, and there's a spirit here that's very healthy, conducive to a healthy lifestyle. You can't go wrong with living here and choosing to go with Salento with love.
Well, sounds. First of all, it got me almost emotional at one stage. Anyway, I really got it. I got it back together. But well, thanks very much. I did write a few questions in my diary, but I think you've answered every single one of them. Purchasing process, work that was carried out. Why Salento with love, and property management. A lot of people that contact me on a regular basis that watch my channel, if you haven't subscribed, please do. They think that this is probably one of the conversations we were having earlier, that we focus mainly in facilitating the purchasing of the property. Well, I've been saying this probably quite regularly, and some people probably can read between the lines. That's not what we do. Realtors scattered around Italy or around the world are the facilitators of somebody purchasing a property. I feel that I carved myself in a position as a consultant in allowing the expectation of somebody to actually be met, to the point that if I don't feel that the property or the area or the town can actually meet those expectations, I have no problems in telling somebody that this is not the place for them or this is not the area for them. So it goes well beyond, the idea of just facilitating the purchase. And definitely the property management. If I think about your property, probably through this video we'll see how good the editor is. There will be some videos, or probably they're playing now while I'm talking, of what this property was like, the work that was carried out. We started from the roof, and I must say, in what I've been doing, and things have gone so fast, one thing that I've appreciated the most is the trust that people have been showing into what I've been doing, because to develop that level of trust thousands of miles away is not easy. And just to trust somebody that has purchased the property on your behalf and then tells you that a certain amount of work needs to be carried out, you don't know anything about the building. Right. And that brings me to one very important point, I think, in regards to remote purchasing, remote refurbishing, remote management. What's the value of time for you in life, Lola? How do you value time?
Oh, I mean, I couldn't put a price tag on it, to be honest. I mean, there's one more thing that I really wanted to mention, I think is really important. when you come here, you're not alone. Salento with Love is basically like a family. They put you in touch with other expats, and there are dinners that you have together. Some of them invite you into their homes. It's invaluable, to be honest. You're not alone when you come here, which is really what I was looking for. When you go out in public to the shops, you get to know all the shopkeepers in the churches and the stores, and they all get to know you pretty quickly, and they're extremely friendly, warm, sincere people. So I almost don't even know how to answer that question, because there is no real, I mean, it's what I have here is invaluable.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked this question is because I can't stress enough the importance of time in life. Mm-hmm. That's probably why I managed to do things so fast, because I get rid of all those things that are not important. I declutter, really. And so if I think of all the words that you've been saying through this small interview, you've managed to almost become part of the community. You're talking about knowing shopkeepers, the bar, Parisi knows you by name, you go to the church, you got your place. And all of those things are possible because your time was focused in enjoying your time. Mm-hmm. Now, I feel for all of those people that they're trying to purchase a property and then they spend all their time feeding someone else's time. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, you would have been here now dealing with plumbers, decorators, and wherever, you know, all the work that is being carried out, even all the furniture that you purchased was all assembled. Yes. Everything was in place for you.
Yes.
Now, obviously, that carries a cost, and you've paid the price. And thank you very much for doing so. And I would like to think that our prices are very reasonable for what we offer, but that's
very reasonable.
It's wherever they are, so you can inquire about that.
Yes.
But I think your time was so well spent because that's given you the opportunity to fall in love with the area.
Yes.
Rather than removing that element of love, because I can probably, if you've done renovations before, sometimes some of those can remove that element of love.
It does. It really does. So that because Salento really took care of most of the work with regard to my property, it has allowed me to get out into the community and to travel to the neighboring towns, and they're fabulous. I mean, beautiful cities here. The beaches are like nothing you've ever seen.
Well, you wait, you see them, because she's been here, well, she's here in the middle of the winter. You wait and see the colors in April, May, June, and it's just close to Caribbean's paradise.
I'm looking forward to that.
So just to wrap it up, because we've been going on for a while actually, but we haven't spoken about the property. The property, did the property matched your expectations?
It did, actually. It's even prettier in person. It's a beautiful apartment. High ceilings. I hadn't imagined the ceilings to be this high. I would say they're between 15 and 20 feet high with star vaulted ceilings. It's beautiful. It's so much nicer than I even imagined, and bigger. It actually is bigger in person than what I had imagined, and no disappointments at all. It's a lovely apartment, and I really hope that some of you may want to visit or even rent the apartment for holiday. It would be a very nice holiday, and you could do that through Salento with Love. Everything, I guess, Davide makes all of that information easily available, but I really hope some of you will make the trek here. You won't be disappointed.
Was that renting this property will be amazing. You're right in the heart of Nardo. You may want to be here for a month, 2 months, 3 months. We're an amazing place to use it as a hub and then travel around and discover the area.
It's beautiful around here. The Baroque architecture is just amazing, and Nardo is considered the small, the little Lecce. Lecce is the king of Baroque architecture, and Nardo is still a beautiful Baroque architecture.